Hey everyone, with the Snyder Cut coming out soon, I figured it was as good a time as any to rank the Batman movies. I'll be doing Superman very soon. Starting off, number 12 is Batman and Robin. I know, what a surprise. There's a fine line between so bad it's good and just plain bad. Batman and Robin trips over that line and falls flat on its face. Mr. Freeze is actually a pretty scary villain.
Drop your weapon! Stop or we'll shoot!
Until he opens his mouth.
The Iceman cometh!
His ice puns are so cheesy. Some of them make me laugh. Especially Let's Kick Some Ice, but some of them are just cringe-worthy. This movie essentially plays out like a live-action cartoon, which is exactly what Joel Schumacher was going for. On set, he would literally say, "Remember everyone, we're making a cartoon!" Ironically, there was a Batman cartoon around at the time, and it was leagues better than this. The acting is campy, the action is bad, and this movie is just bad, but also kind of entertaining. Apparently George Clooney was so bored making this movie that he decided to play Bruce Wayne as gay, which is my favorite thing about this movie. My score is 1.5 out of 5. Number 11 is Batman Forever. This isn't a very good movie, but compared to Batman and Robin, it might as well be The Godfather. As flawed as it is, this movie does feature a satisfyingly over-the-top performance from Jim Carrey. He is hands down the best part of the movie. Tommy Lee Jones is kind of entertaining, but also very miscast. Seriously, why not just have Billy D. Williams play Two-Face? He would be great. Val Kilmer isn't great as Bruce Wayne or as Batman, but he's decent, and he's far better than George Clooney. The action is pretty good, and the script is surprisingly decent. At least in this movie, there's a reason for Batman's costume change and new vehicle. It's because all of his other ones were destroyed. In Batman and Robin, it just happens for no reason. It does happen for a reason.
We put the picture's name on everything. Merchandising, merchandising, where the real money from the movie is made.
The cinematography is solid and the pacing is on point. My score is 2.5 out of 5. Number 10 is Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. For the record, I'm going off the Ultimate Edition here because the theatrical cut is hot garbage. The casting in this movie is on point. Batfleck is badass, Gal Gadot is delightful, and Henry Cavill is awesome. Jeremy Irons, Lawrence Fishburne, Amy Adams, and Holly Hunter are also good. The action in this movie is the usual level of great I've come to expect from Zack Snyder. Say what you will, he knows how to create a kick-ass action scene. The warehouse fight is legitimately one of the best fight scenes in any superhero movie. You know what else Snyder is good at? Cool visuals. Like 300, Watchmen, and Man of Steel before it, Batman v Superman has so many moments, so many frames, that just feel like they were ripped straight out of a comic book. I love Hans Zimmer and Junkie XL's musical score in this movie. The heroes and the villain each have their own distinct themes, and the music leading up to and during the warehouse fight is simply outstanding. I also dig this movie's Batmobile. It's not my favorite, but it's unique while still looking and feeling like a Bat vehicle. My score is 3.25 out of 5. Number 9 is the original Batman the Movie. Much like the show, this movie is campy and silly in the best possible way. Adam West isn't my favorite Batman, but he is definitely the best comedic Batman.
Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
The story feels like it was pulled straight from the comics. The dialogue is full of clever tongue-in-cheek humor, and the action is just perfectly campy and fun, complete with cartoony sound effects. My score is 3.5 out of 5. Number 8 is Batman: The Dark Knight Returns. Now, originally, I just wasn't going to include any direct-to-video entries on this list, but this is the only one of them that I've actually seen, so I figured there was no harm in including it. This was an interesting one for sure. The plot is tight, the action is awesome, and the voice acting is pretty great.
It's the only way I'll know.
Yeah, get him!
You slow, Spud!
The pacing is kind of slow, but I didn't really mind because I was never bored. Peter Weller is great as old Bruce/Batman. Gary Anthony Williams is pretty awesome as the mutant leader. Michael Emerson is pretty good as the Joker, and Mark Valley makes a solid Superman. There are a ton of memorable moments, some of which I wasn't even familiar with before I saw this. My score is 3.9 out of 5. Number 7 is Batman Returns. This is one of my favorite alternative Christmas movies, up there with Die Hard and Lethal Weapon. Michael Keaton, Danny DeVito, Michelle Pfeiffer, and Christopher Walken are at the top of their game.
Admiring your handiwork?
Touring the riot scene. Gravely assessing the devastation. Upstanding mayor stuff.
You're not the mayor.
Things change.
What do you want?
Ah, the direct approach. I admire that in a man with a mask. You don't really think you'll win, do you?
Things change.
Meow.
And Michael Gough is once again fantastic as Alfred Pennyworth. Although this movie does venture into some pretty dark subject matter here and there, but overall it's still a fun movie, thanks in large part to a solid script and Tim Burton's unique direction. My score is 4 out of 5. Here's where the controversy begins. Number 6 is Batman Begins. You know, it's funny. If Batman and Robin hadn't been so terrible, we might not have gotten the Dark Knight trilogy. This movie successfully revived the franchise. It's a breath of fresh air for Batman and one of the best superhero origin stories to date. And even though Batman doesn't really begin until about 40 minutes into the movie, I never really minded, because I was invested in the story. I was invested in the characters. Liam Neeson is excellent as Ra's al Ghul, and in my personal opinion, Christian Bale is the best Bruce Wayne. Not necessarily the best Batman, but the best Bruce Wayne.
If you're uncomfortable.
Mr. Wayne, if you don't want to tell me exactly what you're doing when I'm asked, I don't have to lie. But don't think of me as an idiot.
Fair enough. What's that?
Well, the tumbler? Oh, you wouldn't be interested in that.
She was built as a bridging vehicle. During combat, 2 of these would jump over a river towing cables. And over here on the throttle, flip that open and throttle up. This will boost you into a rampless jump.
Afterburner disengaged.
We never could get the damn bridge to work, but this baby works just fine. So what do you think?
Does it come in black?
My score is 4.4 out of 5. Number 5 is The Dark Knight Rises. This movie had the practically impossible task of living up to The Dark Knight, and it failed, but it's still pretty damn great. And it succeeds in almost every other regard. Christian Bale, Gary Oldman, and Anne Hathaway are all great. And Tom Hardy is excellent as Bane. He redeems the character after what they did with him in Batman and Robin.
I am the League of Shadows. I am here to fulfill Ra's al Ghul's destiny. You fight like a younger man. There's nothing held back. Admirable, but mistaken.
And honestly, I think this movie's ending gets a bad rap. I love that we get to see a version of Bruce Wayne who has finally retired from Batman and settled down with a somewhat normal life. The score is 4.5 out of 5. Number 4 is the Lego Batman movie. This movie is just a ton of fun. The Lego CGI is just amazing, and the acting and the writing are great. Will Arnett isn't the best Batman or Bruce Wayne, but he's equally good at both. Likewise, Zach Galifianakis isn't the best Joker, but he adds a new layer to that character, so that's something.
Hi, Batman! So weird to keep running into you.
Looks like your plan failed.
Well, it's only a matter of time before I take over Gotham City.
When has that ever happened? Computer.
Calculating. Never.
You know why?
Ah!
Because I'm always one step ahead of you.
And I always get away!
Not this time. Because this time, I got you.
Oh, yeah? Well, there's only one problem. Who's gonna defuse the bomb? It's gotta be one or the other, Batman. Save the city, or catch your greatest enemy. You can't do both.
I'm sorry, what did you just say?
You can't do both, I said.
No, I mean the other thing.
Save the city or catch your greatest enemy?
You think you're my greatest enemy?
Yes! You're obsessed with me!
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are!
Michael Cera, Rosario Dawson, and Ralph Fiennes are all very well cast, and Billy D. Williams' return to the role of Harvey Dent is a wonderful nod to the Burton Batman movies. The Scuttler is honestly one of the coolest Batman vehicles out there. And I love all the references in this movie. All of the villains trapped in the Phantom Zone, Batman's computer password, his phases from each previous Batman movie in the 60s TV show, and my personal favorite, the shark repellent bat spray. My score is 4.6 out of 5. Number 3 is Batman Mask of the Phantasm. This is easily the best animated Batman movie. This movie manages to efficiently and concisely tell a powerful story about two adults dealing with tragedies in their life in two different yet equally believable ways, and it does it in less than 80 minutes. The animation is beautiful, the action is well edited, and the voice acting is great, especially Mark Hamill.
Well, Hayes, guess it's time to call it a night. What do you say, hon? Feeling the old electricity tonight? Ain't it always the way? You get in the mood and company shows up.
Joker, your angel of death awaits.
I'm impressed, lady. You're harder to kill than a cockroach on steroids.
So you figured it out.
Gotta hand it to you. Nice scheme. Costume's a bit theatrical, but hey, who am I to talk?
My score is 4.7 out of 5. Number 2 is Tim Burton's Batman. Look, Tim Burton may not be one of the best directors out there, but he's certainly one of the most creative. The acting is solid across the board. Christian Bale, in my opinion, is the best Bruce Wayne, but Michael Keaton is the best Batman. And Jack Nicholson isn't my favorite Joker, but he's still outstanding in this movie.
Let me tell you about this guy I know, Jack. Mean kid, bad seed, hurt people.
I like him already.
Yeah, you know, the problem was he got sloppy. You know, crazy.
He started to lose it.
He had a head full of bad wiring, I guess. Couldn't keep it straight up here. He was the kind of guy who couldn't hear the train till it was 2 feet from him. You know what happened to this guy, Jack? Well, made mistakes. And then he had a...
Light shot! Now you want to get nuts? Come on! Let's get nuts.
And Billy D. Williams and Michael Goff are also really good. The action is great, the script is smart and funny when it wants to be, and the set design is magnificent. The score is 4.9 out of 5. Finally, probably as expected, my number 1 is The Dark Knight. Once again, the acting is just solid across the board. Christian Bale and Gary Oldman are great, Aaron Eckhart gives one of his best performances, and Heath Ledger. I mean, what is there to say about Heath Ledger's Joker that hasn't been said already? Heath Ledger's performance may not be the most faithful to the comics, but he makes the character his own.
You wanted me. Here I am.
I wanted to see what you'd do. And you didn't disappoint. You let 5 people die. Then you let Dent take your place. Even to a guy like me, that's cold.
Where's Dent?
Those mob fools want you gone so they can get back to the way things were. But I know the truth. There's no going back. You've changed things. Forever.
Then why do you want to kill me?
I don't want to kill you. What would I do without you? Go back to ripping off mob dealers? No. No, you complete me.
And the best thing about this movie is that even if they didn't have Heath Ledger as the Joker, even if they had someone else, someone who wasn't as good maybe, this movie would still be great. It wouldn't suffer that much for it. And that's a testament to how great it is overall. The score is 5 out of 5. That's all for now. Let me know what you think. What's your ranking? Like and subscribe and all that. If you don't like the video, subscribe anyway so you can tell me how bad my other stuff is. That's all for now. Stay safe in these crazy times.